What's going on, H-Town Rockets fans, no matter where you are, Wizard fans, and even our Rockets fans out there in the DMV. This is Rockets Daily brought to you by Fan Arch. My name is David Delano. Today we're going to talk about this matchup between the Washington Wizards going down on November 12th, 2025. We're going to talk about some of the exes that don't live in Texas anymore. One who now hangs his hat in Tennessee with some former Rockets and how they're doing. And I'm going to get to some of your comments as well. My name is David Delano. Thanks so much for being with us as we're growing to deliver you the best Rockets content that I can. And also appreciate all of your comments because cannot do this without you guys. Honestly, read each and every comment. People who agree, the people who disagree. Mostly positive, occasionally. I don't even want to say negative. It's all dialogue, right? I mean, debate, basketball, differences of opinion, strong opinions. That's really what makes this thing go. And honestly, it makes it more interesting, even when people do not see things the way that I do. It's really all about the discussion, and it really makes the platform going. We're at episode 107 now, I believe, and just each and every one of these episodes, if it's just me talking with no feedback from you guys, I definitely could get a little dry pretty fast. So appreciate that. And all I ask is if you guys would subscribe. Definitely would appreciate that. And any comments that you have, would welcome those as well. Let's go ahead and talk about this game tonight against the Washington Wizards. And this is a game, definitely some inexpensive tickets if you want to go down to the Toyota Center and check out the Rockets tonight. This is going to be the return game for Cam Whitmore. We'll see if he's going to drop 30 today in this revenge game. Washington Wizards, like to necessarily over exaggerate. I know Charles Barkley's kind of mentioned get CJ McCollum out of hell. I mean, it has been a bit of a basketball hell NBA wise as far as the Washington Wizards. Doesn't seem like a team with a great fan base, even in that Washington D.C. DMV area, and they're 1-10 right now. Cam Whitmore traded there, place where he could play. We'll get to him in a minute, and things just not going well for the Washington Wizards. They're 1-10, 28th in the NBA in offensive efficiency, 29th on the defensive end. Now their last game though, they barely lost to the Detroit Pistons, 137-135 in overtime. So, they competed. A couple things here. You got CJ McCollum averaging 16.8 points per game, but he's really been surging lately. Had some slow games early on. 25, 25, and 42 points in his last three games. 42 points in that loss to the Detroit Pistons. Alex Sarr in his second year in the NBA. A 7-foot big man averaging 18.5 points per game and 8.4 rebounds per game. Cam Whitmore, been a bit of an adventure already with the Washington Wizards. A lot of Washington Wizards fans even already asking how was his body language, demeanor, relationship with Coach Udoka. And Cam Whitmore, really one of those guys when he's feeling good. Just from my experiences watching him, and as you guys will know this too, guy when he's feeling good, you know it. When he's frustrated, you know it. And so far, he has appeared in every game, but minutes per game, averaging a few less minutes per game than he did last season with the Rockets. 16.6 minutes per game, 9 points per game, and just a 33.3% from the floor for Cam Whitmore. But Cam Whitmore had a stretch there. It's been up and down. He's had some flashes. Similar to with us. He had 4 games. He had 3 games where he didn't play much, had a total of 4 points over a 3-game stretch. But now, last 2 games, 19-point game against Dallas and 20 points against the Detroit Pistons. So he had Cam, with some solid games, some not so solid games, some games where he's kind of back of the rotation, almost irrelevant in the game plan, and then some nice games. So what will we see tonight in Houston from Cam Whitmore? A couple things with these game days. I wanted to get these some of these episodes recorded a little sooner and out a little sooner. But I also want to really be able to dive into the numbers and some of the player prop numbers, which aren't always available early. One thing tough about this with the climate of things that have been going on with sports, you're starting to see some of these props, especially for role players, not really be available as far in advance and not as available and as on as many sports books. So right now, really, Cam Whitmore kind of was looking for some player props for him for his points per game, how many points he'll get tonight, things like that, some predictions. We can definitely get into some predictions, but numbers are not really up for Cam Whitmore. As far as for the Rockets here, we will look over at, let's go with, let's check out these props over here on Underdog Fantasy, where you can use promo code David if you're not a member with Underdog Fantasy, promo code David. You've got Kevin Durant's props points 25 and a half for the higher or lower. Şengün 22 and a half. CJ McCollum 17 and a half. Amin Thompson 17 and a half. Alex Sarr 16 and a half. Jabari Smith Jr. 13 and a half. You've got Kaishan George here 12 or a higher or lower 12 and a half. Reed Shepard 11 and a half higher or lower. I think that we're going to see a nice big game from Reed Shepard. This isn't really one of those games where I would really like to you start looking at like Şengün and Durant. I mean, more than 25 points for Durant. I don't know. Obviously, Durant could get that if he wants to. Do I see Durant taking a ton of shots? Who knows? If this game goes the way that it should go, KD may not even play much in the fourth quarter because Rockets a 17.5 point favorite in this. Do they win by that much? I don't know about that. I honestly would kind of like to see more guys get to play. Overall, this should be a situation for that. Should get a convincing win. I think the Rockets should, but I think right around 16 points or more should be a dominant win for the Houston Rockets. I'd like to see some other guys, like I said, J.D. Davison actually get to step on the court a little bit and things like that. But I do think that Reed Shepard is one of those guys who should have a big night because whether this game is close, which it shouldn't be, or it's a blowout, Reed is someone who should see a lot of meaningful playing time either way. Now let's go ahead and get into some former Houston Rockets. First, let's go ahead and get into talking about that big trade that happened in the offseason, sending Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks to the Phoenix Suns. And some of you guys may know, for those of you who haven't been paying attention to it, how's Jalen Green doing? 2 games, really one so far with the Phoenix Suns. Made his debut with the Suns in a 115-102 win against the Clippers. Dropped 29 points in 23 minutes, and I saw on some message boards right there, oh man, we shouldn't have traded Jalen Green for Kevin Durant. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Everybody has the right to their opinion. Next game, 2 points in 7 minutes. Hamstring injury. Jalen Green now expected to be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. So, we're probably going to get to mid-December, maybe even January, where Jalen Green so far, we'll say mid-December for now, only with really one game under his belt for the Clippers. Dillon Brooks just recently returned from injury as well. Only 5 games so far for Dillon Brooks. Suns are 3-2 with him in the lineup. He's only shooting 30% from 3-point range, but averaging 18.4 points per game. I said most importantly, when he's in the lineup, the Suns have a winning record. But got Jalen Green, who's appeared in 2 games, and very briefly in the second game. Dillon Brooks, who's played in 5 early on. Phoenix Suns, dealing with some injuries with Dillon Brooks and Jalen Green. And Fally Dante over with the Atlanta Hawks, not getting a whole lot of meaningful minutes. We did see him when they faced the Rockets, just under a point a game and just under 2 points per game for in Fally Dante. But Jock Landale, who this Rockets team was deep with big men. Rockets moved on for him. Now laying his hat in Tennessee with the Memphis Grizzlies, who have been struggling, but Jock Landale, who's been having a nice season so far, 10.7 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, shooting just under 58% from the field. So nice to see Jock excelling and getting more of a role and getting to start and play meaningful minutes with the Memphis Grizzlies. Let's get into some of your comments before step out here. And through the door mentioned wanting to see JD Davison play more, and I completely agree with that. And I think that tonight is a day, you want to see what he can do, and we haven't really seen that. Reed's been getting a lot of meaningful minutes, which is important. JD, there haven't been a whole lot of opportunities for him to slide into the lineup. I think tonight against the Washington Wizards is a perfect opportunity. Man, I'd like to see him get at least 12 minutes in this game and really get to play. Also, Matt Kelly mentioning being down after that fourth quarter against the Spurs, but also having to remind yourself that it's just November. I agree, and that's one thing that I kind of battle with here is we're only 9 games into the season. The team's 6-3. As you mentioned, that's on pace for 54, 55 wins. So really right where we should be. Most important thing is we see guys, like I said, Jalen Green already injured over there with the Suns, not on the floor. You don't want to take for granted that right now most of our key pieces are in there. Obviously, we dealt with the injury, losing Fred before the season started, and we don't have Dorian Finney-Smith yet. But overall, health has been fine. There's a long, long way to go. So I don't really want to get too caught up in it. It's really a balance, right? You don't want to get too caught up in the fact it is only November, but also, I mean, there's things, we struggled against some of the top defensive teams in the NBA, and there still was a lot that you could take away from that loss. I think that in the big games, when you start thinking about the playoffs, and you think about possibly a playoff series against the Spurs, the Lakers, like to say that we're above the Warriors, but I mean it hasn't been proven yet. It hasn't been proven yet. Things are not won on paper. So talk about the Warriors, the Nuggets, and of course Oklahoma City Thunder. You got to nitpick a little bit, and I definitely agree with you. We don't want to overreact. It is November, but that Spurs loss was a little bit of a dose of reality to say that. I mean, we can't just say that we're just going to roll to a championship. No one's going to just roll to a championship, but there's still some flaws on this team. It was nice to see Reed play some big minutes, but point guard's still an issue. When we get to a team like that doesn't get punked on the boards, that holds its own on the rebounding end, and when we don't get to the free throw line way more than other teams, and that's going to happen in a lot of road games. You're not just going to kill teams in free throw attempts. You're going to get some teams, matching that physicality on the boards, and without a true point guard, it could cause some issues. So I understand, Matt. Only time will tell. We're going to keep on riding this thing out. Handle business tonight against the Wizards, man. Blow the brakes off these boys, man. Belt to you know what. That's what should happen, man. Let JD Davison get out there. Let everybody play. But take nothing for granted. This has been Rockets Daily, brought to you by Fan Arts of David Delano. If you haven't subscribed, just a reminder, go ahead and do that for us. Let's have a great day.